Hello and welcome to Inspire Interactives. Inspire is a digital magazine launched by All India Professionals Congress, the AIPC, and is available on its website. AIPC is a department of the Indian National Congress that brings together professionals from all walks of life and stands committed to the tenets of diversity, inclusivity, and equality. The Inspire magazine includes interviews, articles, and features carefully compiled from varied sources and focused on areas of common concern. Inspire Interactives is the audiovisual arm of our digital outreach. Here, we will be talking to thought influencers, change makers, policy makers, AIPC fellows, and indeed non-fellows. In short, anyone and everyone who has a particular perspective to share on a public platform and nurtures a desire to be heard, Inspired Interactives is here for you. So welcome to each and every one of you once again. I am Dr. Vandana R. Singh, Editor-in-Chief of the Inspire Digital Magazine. And my guest today for the Inspired Interactives is Zara Parwal, State Secretary, Maharashtra AIPC. A very warm welcome to you, Zara, from the Inspire team.
Thank you so much, Vandana.
Though Zara and I interact frequently, but mostly over work-related issues, I think this is a wonderful platform for us to get to know each other and about our personal, professional lives. So, Zara, I'm keen to know, other than AIPC, what is it that you do? What keeps you engaged? What are your professional engagements? What are your professional aspirations? I know that you are a YouTuber. I know that you are a fellow with FEM Foundation. And I know that you are a person who is very, very socially and politically aware. And I know that you are somebody who feels very strongly about things. But what is it that you do in your professional life?
So actually, Vandana, I studied abroad and I was learning how to do business development. I came back and I was doing that in the restaurant industry for a while. I got married and my partner Nikhil got a job in Noida. So I had to leave, unfortunately, everything and walk away because we took the decision very simply based on whose salary would be more. It makes more sense to go there. And then I wasn't doing anything for a little while, which just drove me nuts. So coincidentally, at the time, a couple of people I knew socially were working on a production house and asked me to help them develop a few concepts for short films and web series and things like that. I thought that's a great project, let me just start, at least keep myself occupied till I figure out what to do there. And that's how I got introduced to freelancing and digital content creating. So it ranges, well, now we don't have TikTok, but earlier you'd have, influencers who want to create a certain image, or you have new companies who want to develop their web pages. So what we do is a couple of us freelancers will get together. Since I can't do everything, I can do some content creation. I'll reach out to someone who's good at editing. I'll reach out to someone who's good at, videography. And then we help each other get that work. Also, this helps with smaller companies getting the job done at a much smaller price because we don't have a office to maintain. We don't have salaries to pay. So we are only charging for the work that we are doing. And that's how it began. And I thought, there's so much content I want to create for myself, which no production house is buying. Nobody is asking me to put it on their website. That is how I got into YouTube. I wanted to talk to people who made a difference. I wanted to talk about issues that matter, from disability rights, to animal rights, women rights. And there are people who are doing exceptional work out there, but normal public will not know their name because we're so used to either seeing politicians or sports stars on our news and television all the time, that we actually miss out on real life heroes. And that's how my YouTube channel came about. So that's what I do work wise. I do content development. And we also, 3, 4 of us freelancers get together, take up projects. Unfortunately, with the COVID, it's been a little tough last couple of years for sure.
So you said you are a YouTuber. So if I want to see your videos, what do I key in? Do I key in Zara Parwal? How do I find your videos?
Yes, you can just put Zara Parwal, and I have a couple of my short films that I didn't sell to a production house, that I've made myself. I'm very proud of them. They've won awards. They've been on issues that I care about. And there are interviews with some amazing people I've had the privilege of talking to. They really are change makers, each one of them that I've spoken to. So you can just search for Zara Parwal on YouTube, and please leave a comment to let me know how you found the content. And I'm always willing to listen and collaborate.
I've seen one. I think it was about domestic violence. I think it's this conversation between a woman and her house help.
Yeah, a helper, and yeah. So
Uh,
that's called Jhooti, and that was the first short film I ever made. I had a budget of, I think, 5,000. I exceeded by a couple of thousands. That entire movie has been made in 7,000. That's my biggest. It's won awards, but
yeah.
to me, to be able to make a short film with 7,000, which goes on, and you can do that when you collaborate, when you help other people out in their projects. They come in. That's the power of people coming together with different skill sets. So that entire movie has been made in less than 7,000. Very proud of that though.
So educate me on this. So once you put up a video on YouTube, does it get monetized in some way? Does it end up paying for itself? Does it end up even financing your future projects, or how does it work? Or you're doing it just for the love
Well,
of it?
there are two ways that my YouTube channel has helped me. I have used my videos to send them to anybody who's looking for content development, so they can get an idea of my work, and they aren't really judging me on they will not judge me on the camera quality of it, because they know I'm not applying for a cameraman. So that way it's like me creating a resume as time is going, of the kind of work or the content I can create. So that's one thing. My channel is actually monetized. For a channel to be monetized, you need to have more than, I think, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And my channel got monetized, I think, last year. uh, so I do make money out of it. Unfortunately, I have not put a lot of content this specific year, with the whole second wave and personal commitments and other things. But I've been very lucky. I've actually gotten eyeballs and traction without having to spend money on marketing and things like that. I just have a Facebook page where I put the links to the content. And I think I truly have been lucky, because there are people putting a lot of content out there who've not, unfortunately, gotten that kind of. It's hard to get even subscribers, to be very honest. You have to consistently put your work out there, which I need to now start doing again with, now just today I've had my second dose of vaccination. So I think as we get a little bit normal, things open up, that should become easier.
So let me spin the question around on its head. The monetization issue. So if for a moment we were to imagine that your channel was unable to pick up any revenue, would you still want to make videos for YouTube? Is it for you? Is it like a form of expression, uh, an artistic expression? Is it for you what writing might be for a writer, or what painting might be for a painter, or what what poetry might be for a poet. Would you do you look at it like that? Is it your medium of expression which you would want to express yourself in, irrespective of whether it's taking you anywhere really on the social and the economic ladder or not?
You know, I'm so glad you asked me this, Vandaji, because if I'm being very honest, I can start making so much more money with a specific kind of content if I start putting it out on YouTube. If I put a very funny video of me uh, dancing where I am out of tune, where I'm not, I'll go viral.
Yeah,
I'll make money instantly like that.
yeah,
But there's something that stops me, right? And that is that this is not the kind of work I want to do. This is not the kind of content I want to be associated with. It's very, very, very easy to make money today with bad content.
yeah,
The worse you are, the more likely you are to go viral. If that is your, go to, if that's what you want to be, no judgment here. Sure, why not? Going viral is a very big deal. Go for it. But it's much, much harder to put content out there that is meaningful and still get attention of people. Because of what we see, a lot of videos have retention of less than 2 minutes.
yes,
So what I do now is I put shorter videos. My own challenge to myself is that my short films will be less than 5 minutes. I don't want to over explain anything. I want to trust the audience. At the same time, I know that there is another video in the waiting for the audience, which they're very keen to click on because of the poster or everything. So now I want to make it compact. I want to keep their attention, and that I find exciting. Making money actually is, touchwood, I think it comes from the fact that we are comfortable financially. My husband's doing well despite of COVID, touchwood. He's been stable. So that isn't my, it's not my driving force. I think if anything, I didn't even know you could make money on YouTube when I started posting it. But so that clearly won't matter to me.
interesting, interesting. So you have one more subscriber here. I'm going to go and look at your right after this is over.
I hope I have many more coming from this.
I'm sure you will have. I'm very, very sure. So, Zara, when I asked you about your life, initially you mentioned that you got married and you were in Noida and then you moved from here. Since I do know and I know the person that you're married to, that's what leads me to this question. And I'm saying it in the background of the kind of environment that we are living in currently, the kind of very vicious and the kind of very I would say toxic environment that we are living in right now, where things like empathy are really the last thing on anybody's list. Here, it's all about uh, looking for the worst in people. That's what we are doing right now. We are looking for the worst in people. We are no longer looking for the best in people. And all that has been built around people who are stepping out of their comfort zones, interacting with people from different cultures, people who speak different languages. I mean, forget about stepping outside the boundaries of our country. We are going back to our regions, going back to our, well, language. I think eventually we will go back to our dialects, and perhaps we will even stop writing at some point of time and we will just go back to the oral tradition, rich as it is. But given that, I have always been personally of the view, not from now, but from many years now, I feel that perhaps the only way out of this toxicity is intermingling and intermixing. I feel that is the only way, and that is the only long lasting way. It had started happening, but in the last few years we are seeing that brakes have been applied on that vehicle. Um, I'm sure you agree with that since you yourself are in an interfaith marriage. Um, how difficult is it? And at the same time, how exhilarating it must be for you to be doing something which is still considered, sadly, still considered out of the box. It should be just something that, I mean, two people are getting married. It should not matter what religion they come from and what part of the country or what part of the world they come from. But unfortunately, the first thing we ask is, oh, so where is she from? Or where is he from? What is the family name? What is the kind of food that they eat? All these things seem to matter more than the person that you are marrying. But unfortunately, that's where we are today. So tell me, what has this journey been like for you? And do you feel that it's a tricky question, but do you feel that it ever affects relationships between families? Does it bring in some kind of bitterness at times? Are there any challenges that you face, or is it all walking into the sunset hand in hand?
Vandana, it's the most normal, organic thing for me because I'm the third generation in my family. My parents had an interfaith marriage. My grandfather was interfaith marriage. So my uncles and aunts, my sisters, I actually don't know of a single family member who's married to someone based on their religion. So caste is out of the question. We don't, I think my family has never even acknowledged caste. But to me, it is very odd when people say, oh, how is it to be married to someone from another faith? Because I feel it's like embracing, it's embracing someone who brings something that I don't have into the mix. And that only happens when you're very secure of who you are. I think a lot of people who make this noise against interfaith, intercaste are because they're looking for their identity in something of outside of themselves. When your entire identity is based on where you were born and you know how you decide to pray or how you embrace your faith, and that's all that you identify with, that is when this becomes a concern. I think for me, it has never been a concern because I am so much more than that. My family is so much more than that. I'm married to this amazing human being who's so much more than his faith. His family, who is a little hesitant because, like I said, it's very comfortable for me, but it wasn't for him. His family was very, very, I think, apprehensive of how things would go. And if, Nikhil will be expected to make all the changes, or will I make all the changes? But I think we've been married for 5 years now. Nothing in their house has changed. Nothing about what Nikhil likes or eats or dresses has changed. Nothing about my life has changed. So they have come to realize that just to be a part of my family and my life, he didn't have to compromise and they don't have to compromise. I think that is the biggest fear people have, that I lose who I am. But, I've said this before, if your partner is expecting you to lose a bit of yourself to be with them, then they are not the right partner anyways. And that can happen despite of you coming from the same faith, same city, same language. There is nothing that stops someone from asking you to change yourself just because you come from the same faith. I know tons of couples who are struggling and trying to adjust because, and it has nothing to for faith. You pray once a day, you celebrate festivals. We have that many more festivals. We have that much more color in our life. And that's how I look at it. If you're shut down, if you're like, no, this is my limit, ye main hoon, I don't want to know about you, I don't want to speak to you, that's when you're going to have a problem. If you're okay with who you are and you're like, come, give me a hug, everybody come together, I don't think it's a problem. So when this thing, I actually put it out there during a controversy in a tweet about my interfaith marriage, and it went viral, and I got a lot of love and I got a lot of trolling. So when the trolling happened, I remember looking at Nikhil and saying that, should I have done this? Should I have put this out there? Did I make a mistake? And he said, no, this just goes to tell you that there's so much ignorance out there. And it comes from all faiths. I'm not saying there's one faith which is more shut down. It comes from all faiths. I think there are insecure people in every city, in every country, everywhere,
Absolutely.
who don't want to. In India, it's interfaith, intercaste. You go abroad, it's race.
Yeah. It's race, region. It's
region.
Yeah.
It's so many things.
Which church you go to, which parish you are from. These things.
That division never stops.
Yeah, it never.
So once its faith is okay, then we'll go into gotra and caste and आप अपने आप को कैसे identify करते हैं, आपके यहाँ पे पूजा कितने बजे होती है. So that division really will never stop.
So the tweet you are talking about, I don't know if it's the same tweet, but I have to say that earlier Tanishq for me meant jewelry, but now Tanishq for me means Zara. So
that tweet really went viral. I tweeted our pictures. This is a very funny thing. Yeah, he was at work.
So tell me how the tweet happened for those of us who haven't perhaps seen that tweet. Tell us a little bit.
No, it was very funny. I saw ban Tanishq was trending. So I got very curious. I said, kya kiya Tanishq? I want to know. So I saw the ad and I loved the ad. I thought, you know, it spoke about harmony.
It was a brilliant ad.
Yeah, it was very sweet, and it was, honestly, I would have forgotten about it if ban Tanishq was not trending.
Exactly. When I saw it, I thought it was very sweet. Exactly what you're saying. I didn't realize that it was not just sweet. It was actually very much ahead of our times. It so turned out.
It was offending people.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, you know, it got me very mad. I said, but why do these people think everybody is like this, you know? And I put out a tweet with a Shadi ka picture of me and Nikhil, and he was at work. This is just before COVID. And was it after? I don't remember. I remember he was at work, and I sent him a message saying that, listen, I put out a tweet with our picture on it. And he honestly said to me, okay. And he hung up. And by then I had, I think, 100 retweets, which was a lot because I had 200 followers. Right. I had joined Twitter some 3 months ago. I didn't know what Twitter was. I was very new to Twitter. So I thought, 100 retweets is my assumption was it's viral. Then Nikhil came home 3 hours later and he was like, what have you done? Your tweet is viral. Relatives and friends are sending me. Have you seen this? I had no idea because I was so new to Twitter. Now I know how to handle this for sure. But yeah, it just got, and you know what it tells me is that it touched a nerve. It touched a nerve with people who think like I do. And it also pinched people who don't like how I think. So, you know, it's a win-win situation. It irked a lot of people.
I do hope somebody from Tanishq saw it. I'm sure they did. They would have.
Yeah, even if they did, they owe me something for it. I stood up for them and then they took the ad down.
Yeah. So one last comment on this, and that is that when you and Nikhil hear things like love jihad and these bizarre phrases that have come into being, do you sit back and, you know, chuckle, and do you sit back and wonder what kind of a crazy world we are living in? Or does it also annoy you? Does it irritate you? Does it bother you?
It saddens me.
It saddens you.
For 2 reasons. Vandana, I'm not oblivious to the privilege I come from. I know there may be a couple out there right now, madly in love, planning their future, and will never end up together because their life may be at stake
Yes.
or their family's life is at stake. I think we need to acknowledge our privilege of education, the city we come from, the family background and support we have, because these are not mere words, love jihad and things like that. They affect real people. There are real people who've lost their lives. And I feel very blessed to have had the opportunity to live my life on my terms. But to be very honest, these kind of news cycles, and they tell me that there are thousands of boys and girls and men and women out there who will never have that opportunity that I do.
It's true.
Because if they choose this life, I mean, they could have to pay for it with the death of their partner or a family member. And really, does it really somebody choosing to spend their life with someone of their own choice is so terrorizing to us that someone must die? I think people really need to step back and take a look at what our priorities are. Where do we draw the line on extreme reactions? So it really saddens me. It really worries me. It makes me wonder how many couples are, breaking up in this moment, and they could have had a beautiful life together, a happy life together. That's how I feel, honestly.
And for some it ends very violently and
Very badly.
very obviously sadly. But then there are so many others out there who may have ended up not really being together, maybe living their lives somewhere else with someone else. And what a miserable life it must be
Yeah.
to just I mean, it's I don't know. I think either you understand this thing or you just don't
Yeah.
understand this thing. I don't think there is anything midway. And for those
No,
of
and also I want to sit down with a couple of people who are outraging, like हमारे यहाँ की लड़की शादी नहीं कर सकती और लड़का शादी नहीं, whatever. I see that a lot online. I want to sit down and ask them, why does this affect your life?
yeah,
How in real time does this affect your life? And if it does, then you need to get a life. That tells me you have very little going on, and you need to either get a job or spend a little time with your family or get a hobby. Because if what my neighbor's child is getting, who my neighbor's child is getting married to, affects my life so much, that's a concern.
yeah,
Same thing with parents. I think parents who want to control, this is something my mom said. My mom said that, I didn't bring you in this world so that I could use you like a robot.
yeah.
And tell you this is the profession you choose, this is the husband you choose. She's like, that's not my job. My job was to feed you, to give you a good education, to try and give you as many opportunities, and now you're on your own. So I mean, if you've given the best of you to your children, trust them.
Yeah.
Trust the best of you in them.
No, I completely resonate with that. And I might add here that both my sons are in interfaith marriages. And I just feel so happy for them. And more than that, I
Yeah.
feel so proud of them and proud of myself and ourselves as parents. Because I feel one
Yeah,
has given them this confidence.
because that tells me, Vannaji, that you as a parent have given them a large heart to
Yes.
open it up and see the person beyond the skin color, the caste, the religion, everything.
And to
That's what you did as a parent.
step out of that comfort zone, because it's very easy to sit back and let your parents take all the hard decisions and to find the right, the well, not the right partner, but a partner for you,
A
and
partner.
go with the flow. It's
Yeah.
I suppose easy enough to do that if you are a passive sort of a person. but to step out of your comfort zone, to take that decision, to be accepting of some things that might be different from your own, and also to be accepted. So it works both ways. It's not like you are the only one who's having to make all the the compromises. But do remember the other party also. It's equally that. So it's not like you are this God's gift to mankind and that you are acceptable to everyone, but not everyone is acceptable to you. That's the other thing that runs through all these. That how difficult for me and my family to accept this stranger. Of course, I'm so perfect that surely, I mean, of course, they accept me. So, so that's the other assumption here. And of course, the one that is most annoying for us as women is that love jihad is applicable only to these supposedly mindless women who go and marry men of another faith. So to me, it's very offensive on two counts. One, that it means that the minute a marriage happens, the woman loses her identity. That's the premise number one, that the woman would automatically become what the man is. So that's number one. And number two is that women are so foolish, they are so gullible, they are so silly. They do not know what's good for them, and they will just they will let anybody walk them up the garden path, and there they will be in the middle of a love jihad situation. And of course, because they are so silly, they will not even know it. So it's just I don't know, like I said, that it is so offensive on so many different counts that really, I mean, I don't even really know where this thought process comes from, but unfortunately it's here, and we need to do whatever we can to make things better. So I see.
That's the second thing. I mean, first is what you said, that, it's always the objection will come from the side of the girl's faith or the family. Usually, let's not say always, we can't generalize. Usually, because ladkiyan to bewkoof hai. We are born brainless. I mean, here is the assumption that the moment she's married, she's going to have kids for this man.
Yeah.
And if you feel that your daughter or your sister will do that, then you need to empower her more.
Yeah.
Not actually take away her identity. So this really confuses me कि भाई आपने बेटी को बहुत प्यार से नाजों से पाला, आपने उसको पूरी जिंदगी जो उसने कहा, वो होता है ना, ये तो हमारी घर की गुड़िया रानी है, और जो उसके मुंह से निकला, ये कॉलेज भी जाएगी, आपके घर की दूसरी बच्ची है जो कॉलेज जा रही है, लेकिन जहां शी asserts herself beyond that, फिर आप क्यों खो देते हो उस पे इतना विश्वास? आपको क्यों लगता है, जब एक तरफ आपको लगता है कि बच्ची फाइटर पायलट बन सकती है, आर्मी में जा सकती है, उसमें इतनी कैपेबिलिटी है, वो आईएएस आईपीएस कर सकती है, लेकिन जहां लड़का सामने से अगर उसने सीटी बजा दी तो उसकी बुद्धि भ्रष्ट हो जाती है. So I mean, it makes no sense to me.
So Zara, let's talk about what I know is the other love of your life, and I think I just
first love, Vandana ji, my first love.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Your first love. So tell us a bit about. I know you are an animal activist. I know you work for them, you feed them, and as far as I know, I think you have company in your home too. So tell us a bit about that, and tell us about them, and if possible, can we see them?
Well, I can show you, but they're all sleeping. I never get them to be so well behaved, but I will show you some of them. My cat is not home for sure. So I have, my oldest is a male cat. They're all rescue babies. None of them have, I haven't bought any of my kids. The second one is a female dog, and obviously my baby is also, the youngest is a female dog. And when we were growing up, my mom used to come out to leave us to the school car bus. So she used to carry one chapati. which she used to feed. There was one dog who would come walk with me till the bus stop, eat the chapati and come back with my mother. And it really started from there. Back then, we didn't know what a feeder was. We didn't know what animal rights were. We didn't know if they were animal activists. क्या laws थे हमें पता नहीं था. इतना पता था कि अगर कोई आपके आसपास भूखा है तो उसको खाना खिलाना है, ये बेसिक डिसेंसी है. एंड किसी भी जानवर को मारना नहीं, ये इतना हमें पता था. So as we started growing up, obviously with social media, बहुत कुछ we got to know that there is a problem of man-animal conflict within our cities because we've taken a lot of space. So people get very annoyed when dogs enter their societies and so on. What they don't understand is that there are very simple solutions. If societies came together and got their dogs and cats around them neutered, get them sprayed, get their surgery done so that the population doesn't keep on exceeding. Make sure that you give them food at a specific place so they are not getting into aggressive modes. I think a lot of apathy we see towards animals is what is also leading to a lot of apathy towards each other and bigotry. क्योंकि वही बात है ना, अगर आप वो it always you start emboldened when you feel that you can be very mean to an animal, क्योंकि वो तो कहीं जाके कुछ बोलेगा नहीं, तो आप emboldened हो जाते हो, आपकी sense of empathy और खत्म हो जाती है. And that is worrying that parents are okay with their children hitting a dog. कुत्ता सो रहा होगा, the dog has not done anything to you, but this is a form of entertainment to your child. If that doesn't worry you as a parent, because what he is doing to that animal today, it's beyond acceptability to me, but he is going to behave like that with humans tomorrow. And that will include you, that will include his children, that will include his partner. So how children interact with animals, I don't think it's just about the animals. I think it's about what we also take away from it. True. So what we do now is we are feeders. There are a community of cats and dogs. I have more cats in my area than dogs. We've had the privilege of getting a lot of these dogs neutered. So they are not going to have puppies now. All their puppies have been adopted. So there are no young puppies in my lane. They've all either found a home or they've had their surgery. And then we feed them in the morning and night. So there are no dogs and cats fighting with each other for food. There is no incidences where a dog has attacked a kid. But I think it's not for some one person or one family to do it. I think it is a responsibility if these welfare residential, what is it called? RWA?
Resident Welfare Association.
If they come together and decide कि हाँ भाई ये कुत्ता यहाँ पे ही बैठता है, हम इसकी सर्जरी करा देंगे, हम contribute करके इसका खाना कर देंगे, they are not going to have a problem because dogs and cats don't dirty the place that they live in. They don't dirty their own home. So all you have to do is start controlling the population and then we won't have strays. Let them live their life out happily, healthily. Make sure they are injected. बहुत सारे NGOs हैं जो free में कर देते हैं. हमारे यहाँ पे बहुत सारे in Pune there are many NGOs who do anti-rabies and all their 7-in-1 injections together. So options are there, but people have to make an effort.
So you have 5?
I have 3.
No, you have 1 cat and
2 dogs.
2 dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you my, I don't know if you can see. Can you see?
Oh, yes, I can.
She's sleeping. My cat is out because my cat has recently fallen in love with a new cat around the block. So.
Nice. Okay. So, Zara, you belong to the Maharashtra state. and it is one of our most active states, and some very good work has been done there. And I saw on Twitter, and I came to know otherwise also, that on the 6th of September, you marked the third anniversary of the Supreme Court judgment striking down Section 377, and that you decided to do it in a very unique manner. So you want to tell us a little bit about that, and how did that come to be? What was the thought process? How did you think of this? And what were the reactions that you got? Because that was path breaking, if I may say so, because I don't think it's something that has not been done by any political party. It has not been done by any NGO. It has not, I mean, other than the LGBTQ community itself, I do not know of anybody outside it who has actually celebrated this. So first of all, my congratulations to you and AIPC Maharashtra. And I am really curious to know how this came to be.
I'm so glad, Vandana, you asked me this. And I shouldn't be the person talking about it, so I'll just give a brief this. We have a committee, LGBTQI committee, which started last year, and they started with sensitization programs and, getting people to be familiar with how to address another person, how to address trans community. And they came up with the idea. They were really looking forward to the third year anniversary. It's like a day of freedom to them, because till 3 years ago they were criminalized for who they are. So one of the members, Ram, came up with the idea that can we unfurl the rainbow flag in Congress Bhavan? And I was with the entire committee, and the committee head Mario was like, it's a great idea. And he looked at me, can this be done? I said, listen, write a proposal. We have to see how this goes, because as much as we want to do it, we have to follow the protocols. Right. So they wrote a proposal, then AIPC had that sent to the Congress Bhavan of Pune, because it was proposed for here. And to our surprise, within a day, the entire Pune Congress committee, they passed it. They were willing to host it. And we had the LGBTQ committee coming from Mumbai, coming from everywhere. We had the AIPC Maharashtra state leadership. We had other leaders from Pune Congress committee. And with full honors, like we do on 26th Jan and on 15th August, we also had a very large presence of the transgender community. Okay. We actually unfold the rainbow flag in Congress Bhavan. You're right, Vandana, it has never been done, at least not in India, that any political party has done this. The reason we wanted to do that and support our committee's proposal is because it's like freedom to them. They can now openly be who they are without being criminalized. Yes. It's a very big day. They wish each other happy Azadi. Yeah. And if we say we are who we are, that we accept and support everyone for who they are, then we must stand with them in their celebration. Sure. Absolutely. And then we followed it with some ration distribution for trans community that's been struggling in COVID. And all you could see was smiles. It was such a wonderful, I mean, it's symbolic in a way. I know it doesn't change a lot of things. It doesn't have a tangible difference, but there is an acceptability that comes with it. There is an openness for a very large population who can say, this is who we are, and we're proud of it. But for that, we as allies have to stand with them. I think for any cause, of course, if I am wrong, I will scream and I will shout about it. But when I'm wrong, if you shout with me, absolutely, then that cause has a different momentum. A lot of people who fought for women's rights were not women. They were notable voices who were heard. So allyship is very, very important to me. And I think it is time for us to stand with LGBTQI. A lot of people need to come together and stand behind women's rights. I think women have had enough of this. We need to stand against caste atrocities and caste violence, because I think you and I have had this conversation offline. This is not the India that I grew up in. And I refuse to believe that this is the India that my children will grow up in.
Sure. I agree. No, what you're saying about standing with for a cause and with people who you yourself may not necessarily be a part and parcel of. I think that is the litmus test really, because of course
Yeah.
people from the community will be there for each other. Of course they are going to support their cause. Of course they are going to be celebrating striking down of Section 377. But are we doing it? Is everybody else also doing it? Is everybody else also feeling as good about it as those who are directly affected by it are? So that is the test, and I think that is what evolved societies are all about. When you are able to empathize and when you're able to step into somebody else's shoes and walk around in them, I mean that's the whole thing. Of course we all wear our own shoes every day and walk around in them. That's no big deal. But yeah, so I think what Maharashtra did was absolutely amazing. But what saddens me is that it was such a path breaking move, and I don't want to call it a gesture because I don't think it was a gesture. I think it was a statement, and it was a very definitive statement. But what saddens me is that either I missed it completely, but I do not think it got any media coverage.
It didn't. We, in fact, reached out to many, channels and so on that have highlighted the struggle of the community before, because many members wanted to share it. That, you know what, it doesn't matter if you're. It wasn't a political issue. Many members wanted it done in every single party's office, so that more and more people can be a part of the political journey. Why can't we have more representation for the trans community? They don't have to come to our party. They don't have to be with Congress, but this opens the door for them to ask, why isn't this happening in our party office? And Vandaji, you have to understand, it's a feel-good, positive story that nobody wants to put out there. Yeah. It's very simple. Had it been that, Congress mein kisi ko mara ya something terrible like that, 20 channels will come.
Sure.
And we are feeding this negativity 24/7, which is coming into your house and my house, and we're observing it. Why aren't we putting positive stories out there? Because nobody is even looking at it. So you're 100% right. We did reach out to the media and we had no coverage. It wouldn't have mattered which party picked it up. I'll be more than happy if next year every single party is doing it in their offices.
Of course.
I'll say great, wonderful. That much more open-mindedness in their offices. But do it. Open, and don't just do lip service. This thing that whenever we need to do, there's one picture taken. I think right now in our country, everything has become about that one picture.
Yes.
It's become very little about actually doing the thing. And we know some people sitting at the top also who believe in the photo ops more than actually doing the work. But it needs to stop. Really get down there, get your hands dirty in trying to make it happen. Because when after that, every small thing feels like such a large achievement, and everything's not going to be a photo opportunity, sadly.
It was very saddening because, as you said, that this is not an issue that affects a particular region or a particular caste or religion, community. This is something, I mean, to my mind, this is a humanitarian issue. And it's not even limited to our country. It is something that the entire human race has. I mean, we have been unfair to certain people, and we have at different points of our evolutionary journeys have embraced them. And so it is something to be celebrated, irrespective of whether it is happening in India or whether it is happening elsewhere. I think it is something to learn from. It is something to be done in a celebratory mood. But unfortunately, I mean, if everyone here had such open minds, um, I don't know. I think many of our problems would be resolved anyway, or they would not be there in the first place. So
But Vandana, here's one thing I want to point out. Whenever this is a very sad reality of our country. Whenever we put anyone in this on this pedestal, like women are put up on this pedestal, ye meri maa hai, main har koi maa hai. Then what happens is all atrocities start getting put under the carpet. That is what has happened to a lot of people from the trans community. There is a lot of atrocities that they go through. But हम दिखाने के लिए we are very accepting. And the second thing is, again, I've had some people reach out with very nasty comments. I've done a video on LGBTQI where they've said this is against my culture, this is against my religion. My question to them again is the same thing. Who your neighbor is in the bedroom with, how does it affect you? But when you start sending them hate messages and banging on their door, it affects that person. So when something doesn't affect you, it's simple. It's an issue that could ruin someone's life. Many people are forced into marriage and denied who they are. Is that really the society we want to be? Really?
So, Zara, one last question, though we could go on forever. But one last
question. We could. We have another friend in AIPC. If we get her on board, we can go on for the next 7 months.
So, what brought you to AIPC?
That's a very easy question, Vandana. I had no interest in politics. I had no interest in any of these things. But so I'll tell you two things that happened that got me to AIPC. There was a rape that happened in Kathua of a little girl, and there were people who took out a march in support of the rapist. And I couldn't believe this happened in my country. There was a group of people who thought it's a good idea to march for a rapist against an 8-year-old girl. If that doesn't wake you up and tell you that, listen, I will not be able to sleep tonight. So there are two options when something like this happens. You either leave the country or you actually start doing something about it. I can leave the country because, I have visa because I've studied abroad. My husband has visa. But कहाँ जाएंगे वन्ना जी?
नहीं, और क्यों जाए?
यही हमारा देश है. हाँ.
कहने की बात नहीं, क्यों जाए?
क्यों जाएंगे? हम वहां जाके भी इंडिया को ही ढूंढ लेंगे. सच बात ये है कि जो इंडिया छोड़ के जाता है ना, वो वहां पे भी एक छोटा इंडिया ही बनाता है. तो हम वहां जाके भी इंडिया को ही ढूंढेंगे. So then the second option was do something, no matter how big or small, do something. And why AIPC is because, like I told you, we both were running around trying to make a career. We've got ambitions. We want to own, we want that better car. We want that bigger house. So it's not something we can dedicate full time to. Is why AIPC seemed like such a, easy fit for us that, we can continue to have our careers, continue to, fulfill our ambitions, but at the same time not feel like, I'm sorry, but I'm going to use the word, not feel like cowards who can see everything that's going on and not say a word, because that I can't be. I have to say, if you can see all this, read all this and say ki nahi nahi mere ghar pe nahi hua hai, sorry, it's going to come to your doorstep if you don't speak up.
And you feel that AIPC has been able to channelize your energies, and it's giving you the sounding board that you wanted or that you were looking for.
Vandana, what AIPC has done for me personally, I can only speak about my experience. Actually, it gave me a very clean board.
Yeah.
And I could do whatever I wanted to do with it. And all the issues you have spoken to me about, whether it is women's rights, LGBTQI, animal rights, these are issues I have stood with way before I joined AIPC. These are to the core of who I am. But with AIPC, I have actually met other people who care about the same issues. We have reached out to corporates, we have reached out to voters, we've reached out to citizenry to talk about it. I don't know how much of a difference that has made, because I think that difference is a very slow thing. You can't change someone's way of thinking in one conversation. It doesn't happen that way. It takes a very long time for you to be, I don't want to say brainwashed, but kind of, a lot of people today are brainwashed into hating. I don't think at the core Indians are like that. We're not haters, we've always celebrated our diversity. But for them to realize that will take time. That has what AIPC has done. AIPC has given me the opportunity, oh, you want to talk about these issues? Go talk about it. Reach out to anyone you want to reach out to. Pick up anything, sky's the limit. And where else do you have, that kind of freedom? The agenda usually comes from top. Here, I have never ever been told, or do it like this or do it like that. No. As long as we are talking about inclusivity, secularism, and people can say these are bad words and use them like bad words, I don't care. I'm a very proud secular. I'm very proud of being liberal, because यही जो है ना, जो आपको बोलते हैं आप सेक्युलर हो, इनको आप वीजा दो, सबसे पहले इनके बच्चे यूएस जाएंगे और यूएस जाके बोलेंगे कि हम इंडियन है but we want the same rights as you because you're secular. So I mean, let's not be hypocrites. We live in a global community now. We need to be open to everybody that's coming in, because our families are abroad, and that's how we would want them to be treated.
Absolutely. So wonderful. So you do sound like a happy, satisfied AIPC fellow. So that's great. So Zara, like I said, we could go on forever, but unfortunately we have constraints of time. So we'll, alas, need to stop here. So thank you so very much for being here and for sharing your thoughts with us and for us to be able to have this chat. So thanks a lot. I know you are a busy person.
Thank you so much, Vandana ji, and never too busy for you, because I love talking to you. You're one of my favorite people in AIPC to talk to. So I'm so glad you reached out and we got this 1 hour together.
Thank you, Zara. Thank you. And with that, we come to the end of today's interactive session. Thank you, Zara, for being with us here at Inspire Interactives. Thank you, viewers, for being with us in this stimulating conversation. If you'd like to share your thoughts and ideas with us, or indeed be part of an interactive session, do reach out to us at inspire@profcongress.in. We look forward to hearing from you. Till next time then, thank you, goodbye, and have a good day. Bye-bye.